Okay, so now I'm gonna be reviewing Psycho 3, which came out in 1986 and is directed by Anthony Perkins. This is his directorial debut. It also stars Anthony Perkins, Diana Swarwood, and Jeff Fahey. A lot of horror people, know Jeff Fahey because he's kind of a horror legend. He's been in tons of tons of horror films. The only one I could think of right now is Planet Terror and The Lawnmower Man. But anyways, Psycho 3 is, I guess, and it takes place after Psycho 2 because there is some references to Psycho 2, like at the beginning when it's showing like Norman's house and stuff. There's a book on the ground that says Within the Belly of the Beast, and that's a book that Meg Tilly's character was reading in the second movie. But anyways, a young nun is having a crisis of faith, and while during her crisis of faith, she is trying to commit suicide, I guess, and these nuns are trying to stop her from doing it, and she's like freaking out and stuff, and she accidentally kills one of the nuns. So this kind of banishes her from the covenant, and she is set out on foot to go find somewhere to live. And she stumbles across she's hitchhiking and she stumbles across this guy named Duke, who's played by Jeff Fahey, who is a rock star. He thinks he's a rock star. He's some weirdo psycho dude. Uh he gives her a lift to wherever she needs to go, which eventually leads to Bates. Well, that doesn't happen, but he's giving her a ride to wherever she needs to go, and well, it was one night it was storming really bad, and he has to pull over, and they have to sleep on the side of the road, and then he tries to sexually assault her, and she freaks out about it, which I can understand, and he gets mad, and he's like being an asshole to her, just throwing her shit out the car and stuff, and I'm like, dude, you try to rape her. But anyway, she wanders up to the Bates Motel, and she finds out that Jeff Fahey's character Duke actually works there. And while she's there, uh, she runs across Norman at a diner, and how she looks, and on her briefcase it has the initial MC. It reminds him of Marion Crane. So he believes that she is Marion Crane reincarnated, I guess, and he tries to kill her, but before he does, she actually she tries to kill herself, and Norman saves her, and she believes that he was the Virgin Mary that actually saved her. Because at this point in the franchise, Norman is back in mother mode, so he dressed up as his mother and tried to kill her in the shower, kind of like with Marion Crane. And so they become friends, and there's a reporter there trying to do a report on Norman. It's mainly about like mentally ill people and how they are released from hospitals and function in society. And the reporter's trying to get Duke to infiltrate and get information out of Norman, and basically that is the plot of Psycho 3. Now, when I first saw Psycho 3, this is only my second time watching it. I did not like it. I mean, I liked it, but I was more mixed on it. Because in this one, they really did ramp up the slasher elements in it. Like, Psycho 2 kind of like teetered on the slasher things. It was more pulled back, I guess. And in this one, they just go full slasher mode. And I don't know if Anthony Perkins wanted that, or the studio wanted him to up the kills and the gore in it. I don't know. Um, Also, the humor is like really off and weird in this one. And like the first time I watched it, I didn't really enjoy it, and I enjoy certain aspects of it. But this time around, I enjoyed it much better. And because there's like this weird scene where like Jeff Fahey's character, Duke, he picks up this girl from a bar, and they're about to have, they're about to have sex, I guess. This is beforehand. And he's playing with these lamps, and it's like this really weird scene where he's sitting there playing with these lamps and stuff, and this girl's like dancing all weird and shit. I'm like, I didn't understand it, but whatever. And then there's also this other weird scene where like, uh, Norman confronts Jeff Fahey's character in his, hotel room, and like everything's blacked out and it's lit all red, and you find out that because like I said, Norman's in full mother mode in this one, and he steals his mother's corpse. I guess it's Mrs. Spool, I'm not sure, but he has someone's corpse, I'm guessing it's his mother's, in his house. And Jeff Fahey's character steals it and keeps it in his hotel room when the cops show up to talk to Norman. And they get into this big old fight, and and he ends up killing Jeff Fahey's character with a guitar. And Jeff Fahey's character's like, his whole thing and his whole stick in this movie is, don't watch the guitar. That's my bread and butter. And then Norman beats the shit out of him with a guitar and kills him. And then, well, he doesn't kill him then, but it was just a weird scene. And then, like, because he thinks that his mother's talking to him, and so he starts like freaking out. And then, because Jeff Fahey's character was watching like a Woody Woodpecker cartoon, the Woody Woodpecker cartoon starts laughing, and Norman's just like, "Stop it, mother! Stop it!" It was just a weird scene. That's what I mean. Like, the humor's kind of weird and off. I'm sorry if I didn't give a good explanation of that scene. But yeah, it was just, it's weird. Now let me get back into, the other things. Now, like I said, the kills were kind of ramped up in this one. There's like there's like this football game that's going on, this competition that's going on. And there's like a bunch of these football fans that come and crash at the Bates Motel. And like, these these people are just like so obnoxious and rude. They're just doing like burnouts in the parking lot and drinking and destroying shit and being loud and just but I was surprised Norman didn't kill him right on the spot. But one girl gets killed in the toilet, like on the toilet. She's peeing, she gets killed on the toilet. Like Norman, or mother, yeah, I guess it's Norman, comes in and stabs her to death and slits her throat and stuff while she's on the toilet. And it kind of reminded me of like uh Miguel Nunez Jr.'s death in Friday the 13th Part 2, because he gets killed or Part 5, sorry, because he gets killed on a toilet. Then there's one girl, she gets killed in a phone booth, and she gets like the shit stabbed out of her in a phone booth. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Giallo, because there's certain shots in the movie, because I actually like this too. Like, Anthony Perkins used like certain color palettes in the film. Like, he used a bunch of greens and reds and blues and purples and stuff during certain scenes. And like when the girl gets killed on the toilet, it's like a green color. And I really enjoyed that, because it kind of reminded me of a Giallo. Because Giallos use like colors and stuff like that. I don't know, you gotta watch it, like Suspiria and stuff. Then, like when the girl gets killed in the phone booth, I think that's like a red color. That really reminded me of a Giallo. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Tenebrae, because she's trying to put on a shirt. She put on her shirt backwards, because that was the girl that was having sex with Jeff Fahey, and she gets mad because he's not showing her any attention, so he throws her out the, hotel room, and he says, go use the payphone and get the fuck out my sight. And yeah, he was such an asshole. But she goes into a phone booth and she's trying to fix her shirt right. She put it on incorrectly. And Norman, it kind of it reminded me a little bit of Tenebrae, because there's a part where a girl's putting a shirt on and the killer like slashes the shirt open and tries to kill her, but she manages to get the shirt on, and then Norman busts through the glass and starts stabbing her like really violently and stuff. Yeah, those are the only two deaths I can really think of right now, besides Jeff Fahey's death when he gets the guitar bashed over his head. But the relationship between Norman and the nun was pretty interesting. I mean, it wasn't as strong as the relationship between him and Mary's character in Psycho 2, because, you know, in this one, the nun, I think her name is Maureen. She's more standoffish at first, and it takes her a while to start getting used to Norman. And Norman's standoffish too, because, he's having flashbacks because he thinks that's Marion Crane. But then they start developing this relationship, and it's kind of a sweet one. But it doesn't last long, because he accidentally kills her near the end of the movie, and she has like an Arbogast death. Because the effect looked bad in this movie, but in the original movie it didn't look bad. She gets pushed down a staircase because Norman's freaking out, and she falls down the stairs, and it's like the Arbogast effect, and it just looks awful in this one. But she falls back and she hits a statue, and the statue has like an arrow sticking out of it, and it kills her and stuff. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out what other death scenes were, but this one, I do like the cinematography in this one. I mean, it does recreate some shots from the original Psycho, like when he sees the Norman, when he turns back to himself, he goes into the bathroom and he sees the dead girl in the toilet. He like goes like in the original, he grabs his mouth and presses up against the wall, like, and that was like a recreation shot from the original movie. Uh, the Arbogast death scene, that was a recreation, which I felt that didn't look good. And then I liked some of the color palettes too. Like I said, like he used a bunch of greens and blues and purples and stuff like that. Um, you also see more in the house too in this one, and everything's like dusty and nasty looking. And the humor is played up a little bit more too. Like there's a scene where after Norman finds the dead girl on the toilet and also the girl in the phone booth, he hides one of them in this ice machine thing, and the cops come out there to go check on him, and it's the same stupid cop from the second movie, um, because they believe that, they're saying that, oh, that two women were missing. They were trying to find them, and they go up to his house, and he starts freaking out, and then, you find out that Jeff Fahey's character and the reporter was the ones that called the cops on him, and he's sitting there, Norma's sitting by the ice machine, and they're talking, and the cops are talking to him, and then one of the cops, the stupid one from the second movie, opens the ice machine thing and starts pulling ice cubes out to suck on them, and you see the woman's hand in there and some blood on the ice, and you're like freaking out because you don't want him to grab the bloody ice, but he ends up grabbing the bloody ice, and he sticks one in his mouth, and he's just sucking on it and sucking it on his fingers and stuff, and Norman's just like, look. It was just like, yeah, it was just gross. But yeah, I know this review is all over the place, but I'm sorry. I also liked, well, this scene didn't make no sense at the end when they find out that Norman actually killed all these people and stuff. For some reason they arrest him, and they have him in the back of the cop car, and it kind of recreates the scene when at the end of original Psycho when Norman's smiling at the camera, and it kind of fades out like into his mother's face, but he has a hand, like a rotten, decomposing hand in his pocket that he pulls out and starts caressing. And it's like, why the fuck would he have that in there? Like, why wouldn't they check on to make sure he didn't have anything on him? That didn't make no sense. But anyways, yeah. Psycho 3. Oh, let me get back to Jeff Fahey's character. Like I said, I'm sorry that this review's all over the place. Jeff Fahey's character is such an asshole in this. Like, when you first meet him, you think, oh, he's not that bad of a guy. He's just kind of a nuisance, but he's like a slick talker and stuff and nice, but he's kind of a nuisance. But later on, you just see how much of a freaking douchebag he is. And, yeah, you're just like, God, man, this guy's an asshole. Especially, like, when he throws the girl out of his hotel room after they have sex. And he just throws her out there, and she, like, it looks like it hurt. And then, like, he's just throwing shit at her, hitting her with it. I'm like, God, this guy's an asshole. And I mean, like, you kind of figure it out, too, like, when he tries to sexually assault, Maureen in the car. But yeah, but like I said, this time around the movie wasn't that bad to me. I really enjoyed more of the scenes and, some of the weirder aspects, like with the lamp scene and the scene where Norman confronts Duke in the hotel room and stuff. And some of the camera shots, like I really enjoyed like the color palettes that he chose and some of the shots that he did. But anyways, that's my review of Psycho 3.